Welcome back, and it's now time for Social Hour, and today we're discussing about marriage and being lonely within that marriage. And our guests today are counselors Raymond Mwaura. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
And we also do have Counselor Rachel Waweru. Thank you also for coming in.
Thank you.
Right, so we've discussed this before, the whole aspect of you're married but you're so lonely, and your partner, him or her, that they don't realize what's going on, you know, or either they're detached or many other factors. But because of better understanding, I will let the experts tell us more about it. So I can begin with the lady. Rachel, what's your perspective on being lonely in a marriage?
We start by the definition of the word lonely. Being lonely is a feeling that you're alone. It's like you're somewhere separated, and yet you're staying with people. That's what I would say is what you call being lonely. That's being alone, but you're with people. But you can also look at it from this perspective. What is it that is causing you to be lonely? Because there are some factors that contribute. Maybe the person that you expect to be close to you is somewhere far, maybe working far, or he or she may be there, but not active and not delivering as you'd expect. So it is important that you note the reason as to why you are lonely, because there are different reasons as to why one is lonely. The person could be there, but not really acting to the way you would want. And still the person also could not be there. So there are different reasons. At times it is due to positive issues that make you be lonely. Others is due to the person that you're living with maybe is not available for you, and that's where you address. Have you been able to tell this person that I feel lonely? Because that's where you start. Yes, I'm lonely, but how have you approached your loneliness? Have you dealt with it from the perspective that, have you talked to your partner? Have you let your partner know that I feel lonely, I am with you, but I still feel that there's a gap between me and you? Have you tried to communicate? Because at times people feel that they are lonely, you are alone, but you've not told anyone, and so it becomes a problem. Another thing, being lonely has a lot of psychological effects, because it causes a lot of anxiety, and anxiety is what brings around stress. After the anxiety is prolonged, it brings a lot of stress, and now when you get stressed, and the stress leads to depression. So it is very important to deal with your loneliness and identify the area where you are lonely, because you can't be lonely in all areas. At times you could feel that I feel lonely on the side that I need someone to talk to. The other time you can also feel I feel lonely because I need someone who can walk with me. So there are different reasons as to why one could be lonely.
Okay, Raymond, what's your perspective?
Yeah, still stick and more advance on what she's talking about, the definition. Where like, when you're alone and you're lonely are very different, because being lonely is a state of mind, and being alone is a matter of being, where it doesn't mean that when I'm alone, I am lonely. Because we talk about lonely has to do with the psychological maps, which we call the love maps of an individual, where you have a partner who you don't share knowledge and meanings of what love means to you, so that your partner can't pick where you are in your love map. Especially like if you can't tell the two stresses that are the two most stresses in your partner's life, if you can't tell the key friends, their desires, their aspirations, and their ambition, so there is a tendency, if you are not attending to those needs in your partner, then the partner can feel lonely. So you can be lonely in marriage because your partner is not working with you in your love maps. So if you can't share with your partner what you need and what are your aspirations, your dream and your goals, and this goes like if your partner the way they love you is giving you gifts, and then your partner also affirms, then you can find me, I want to be affirmed, then my partner is bringing flowers, then I don't understand flowers. So and those bases one can feel I'm not attended to. So when somebody is saying I'm feeling lonely in this marriage, they're expressing a need. So it has to do with the other partner to know that my partner has been left on somewhere on the road of love. And that also goes now, as she has also shared about the psychological effects, that you're married and then you are very far, yet you are too near to each other but far from each other psychologically. Okay. So it's a state of mind that is being alone. Being alone, but being alone is just solitude, that you can be okay
Okay.
I'll add something to what Raymond has just said. There are some things that there are some factors that really contribute to you being lonely. One of the factors is not being yourself. Because at times you may be lonely just because you're the one who has brought it aloud. So it is very important that you be yourself and let your partner understand you as a person, and you should also be at a position to understand your partner as a him or her, and know what she wants, her likes, her dislikes, his likes, his dislikes. But you may be able to know that for me to be available for this person, this is what this person needs, this is what this person expects. And this is now where we always talk about the aspect of emplacing communication, because once you're able to talk to your partner and let your partner know, this is what I expect from you, this is the way I feel, this is the way I feel today, it is very important you'll be able to connect with your partner, and you can be able to move on. So it is always very important to be yourself, because once you're yourself, you're able to express the real you. But once you're not yourself, at times you end up even telling lies or even pretending just to please the other person. Yet inside, you're just suffering, you're just hurting. So it is important that be yourself. Let your partner know, this is me, Rachel. When I get annoyed, this is the way I react. When I'm happy, this is what you expect from me. And from that point, your partner will be able to know, once Rachel is annoyed, she'll behave like this. And so she needs such type of treatment. And the other way around, if your partner is annoyed and needs something, you're able to tell, this is what now my partner expects from me. Because once you don't receive what you're expecting, that's now where the problem comes in. And you feel that it's like my partner is not there for you. And now you start suffering from that loneliness, and it is very dangerous. In fact, once you start suffering from loneliness, that's now where you start the many other issues that you have had in marriages that we have. So many people have affairs here and there, and even a lot of breakages, because once people started from being lonely. Because once you become lonely, now you start thinking of other things. So it is important that once you spot that you're getting lonely, address the issue. Let's sit down with your partner. Let your partner know, this is the way I feel today. This is what I expect from you. This is what you did to me, and this is how I feel. And then you address it from that perspective.
Okay. Now, Raymond, someone on social media is saying that marriage is a cage where your desires are limited. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it can be that, but you can also now ask yourself, in this cage, what is there for me? Because there's what, especially a couple, you are once very happy with each other.
And what does it mean by limited desires? What are these desires?
Yeah, it goes by from if your partner has not created the fondness and appreciation. People need to know, where do I touch the button of my partner? And they go to those unlimited boundaries, such that if it is like you want a sexual experience, which most men have a mindset like you need somebody who is really an exaggerated sexual experience, and then your partner, you say your partner is not that exciting, and you want to make it beyond, because this is the same woman and same man who in them they have resources, they have the gold mine which you can dig from each other. And it's the way people work with each other. I was looking at the questionnaires that a couple can assess whether these events make them excited, and they create a position of fondness and appreciation. And I was looking at, we were just discussing with my wife how like some of these things are very hard to attain because of our culture, where like we don't talk to each other directly, we talk to each other through third party. We also as Africans don't want shame, so you can't wait for your partner to make a bad meal. But if you can make a meal together, it gives you an opportunity to go those unlimited boundaries. So the cage you're talking about is in the mind, that within the love map, that's the psychological needs, that what you want in your partner, you exaggerated it afar with another partner, but you can achieve it with your partner. So it's the issue of you looking at this cage, that this cage also gives you the benefit of a total attention and a fulfillment from each other. So you can ask yourself that this is the partner I married, and this within my partner I can achieve this, because it's just within the mind. It's just psychological. When someone is saying that I want you to be of this shape, and in their mind, the partner they have in their mind, they are not sharing that partner with, then you realize there will be a challenge for that. So a couple and a family need to discuss and ask each other, these limits we are talking about, that is this marriage cage we are in, who made it to be a cage? It's both of you. It's a state of the mind that both of you tell each other that our marriage can only limit us in our expectations, in our desires, and in our longing. So in the process, you look at, it's not a cage. It has no limits. but you have limits in your mind. So psychologically, you are not able to share with your partner what you want, what you need, and what you desire. And the moment your partner feels that their expectations, their yearning, and their longings are not met, then they'll start looking for somebody who can touch that button that will raise greatness and excitement in them. And truly, those who talk about, we all look for a perfect stranger. So your partner can be a perfect stranger if you create different ways and styles of interacting with each other.
Okay, then. Yep. And we do have a guiding question for today. We are asking you, is it possible to be married yet lonely? Is it possible to be married and yet lonely? Our SMS line is 20001. WhatsApp number is right there on your screens. And you can also be able to call us using the numbers that will appear at the bottom of your screens. Right, so the question here is, Rachel, the extremes though, understand what both of you are saying. Remember some time back, we got a phone call from a lady who they had moved to a foreign country with her husband, but her husband seemed to be very, very busy, and her sexual needs, as she was mentioning, were not being met. So she said that she had to get a partner, sometimes even different partners, to satisfy her sexually. So when it comes to such extremes where your partner is out making so much, not so much money, making money rather for your family, and you know, he tells you, listen, I'm hustling for you to be okay. So when I'm going out there to hustle, relax. Let me do what I need to do because it's for you at the same time. How then should a person in such a situation, especially a woman, handle that?
Okay,
for this lady in that case rather.
Okay, it happens. Just as you've shared, it happens that some people give you reasons. Once you ask them, why did you have to do this? They tell you it's because my husband is too far, or my wife is far, she's not available, she's too busy, they are too busy for me, and that's why I decided to do what I did. People give different reasons for different things that they do. But at the same time, it's good to employ the aspect. I always tell people, four factors that really govern every strong relationship. One is empathy, the other one is listening, the other one is regarding the other person as an important person, and the other one is being genuine with yourself and the other person, the other partner also. And by putting yourself in the shoes of your partner, that is what now we call empathy. Ask yourself, if I were the one who is so busy trying to make ends meet for the family, and yet my partner is here moving and saying that I am too busy for him, I'm too busy for her, or I'm too busy for him, and then you decide then to have another person just to replace this person, and then this person is just busy taking care of the family. I'm trying to look at it from this perspective. Put yourself in the shoes of this person. Suppose you're the one who is doing all these duties, and then you hear your partner is doing that because you're not available. And that's when I started by saying there are different reasons as to why you could be in the same place, but yet you feel lonely. That is one, that he is working far, he is not available for you, he doesn't have time for you. You can sit and rest and talk about it. How are we going to go about it? And that's why I always say, in every marriage, the only thing that I can only help the marriage to run in a smooth way is just communication. Sit down and talk about your issues, your feelings, how I feel. You tell your partner, I feel that it's like you're taking too long before coming to see me. So how am I going to go about it? And then you can discuss and come up with at least a column that you'll be following, and that's what you may be able to move on. Other than saying that now that he's not available, she's not available, then let me get another partner. Suppose you get another partner that you've gotten is not also available for you. Then you get for another partner. And then you find that there's now where we're getting a lot of problems in the society that you move from one partner to another partner simply because I didn't get what I wanted from this partner. I get it, I look for it from the other partner, and that becomes a very big problem. I just support what Raymond has said. He's saying that what you want from your partner, you're the one to create it. If I want my partner to have time for me, I have also to create that atmosphere for him or her, that when she's with me, she feels that she's in the right place, she's in the right, she's comfortable, or he is comfortable with me. But now some people don't really create time and atmosphere, good atmosphere for their partners, such that once you're there, you just point at the mistakes that have been done. You don't even look at the good things that this partner has done for you. And so you find at times this partner opts, maybe let me spend time out, maybe with my friends, and when I come back, at least utapiga kelele to for a short time, and then we sleep, and then I will not have a lot of time with you. So it is also important. Try to create a conducive environment for your partner and even for the relationship, so that you may be able to move on in the right way. Okay, then. And we do have a phone call. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I am James from Nairobi.
Okay, James.
But I want to make a comment.
Yes.
Definitely, breakups are being brought nowadays because of lack of communication.
Okay.
And for a true marriage, surely we need to support each other and we need to feel about each other. I'm happily married and I love my wife and I admire when she speaks to me in every area that she's not happy about ourselves. Not only herself, but about ourselves. That means she talks about her and myself. My comment this morning is communication in the house is the gold mine in every marriage to work. In every area of finance, in every area of social activity in a marriage, communication is very, very important because one will tell what the shape or how the heart is feeling like in order to make another step. And when we are true about ourselves, life will be so good. And many people they have a disease nowadays called TB. TB means too busy. When we are too busy for each other, now that's where you find now a partner trying to get a person who shall finish the job in order for someone to be satisfied. Because I'm happy for that, for this program, and may God grant you more for us to understand our marriages. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, James. We are very grateful for that. Maybe you could get Raymond's perspective, especially on this particular matter.
Yeah, basically, as he's saying about communication, and one of the challenges that we have hammered on communication too much, that when people are thinking like, if I can harness communication, things will work. Then the other challenge we have with our people is that as human beings, for us to communicate, there need to be a level where we can ask ourselves and train people on to communicate. Because most people think like a marriage that has no conflict tend to be the best, and then you realize that without conflict are wrong. But now today the emphasis is that conflict may not be wrong. Conflict is a way of engaging each other in solving our issues. The only challenge is that when you're communicating, if you start a conversation with harsh-ups, you are so harsh to each other, harsh startup, that the moment your partner speaks, you speak very harsh to them. And then again, you speak to them in contempt. You also criticize them. And when you criticize your partner, when you speak to them in contempt, when you also speak with them in a very harsh tones, they tend to be defensive. And once they are defensive, you are not able to converse with each other, because finally when you engage each other and you're not getting through, you build a wall. So when you stonewall, then there's a tendency for one to be bitter inside and to be angry. So even when you're speaking to them and you want to engage them in any talk, just even a simple conversation from a small talk, like give me that soap, and then the person, because they are angry inside and they have already stonewalled, so you not get through to each other. So
and that's the thing, Raymond, with so many relationships in some aspects, they have so many underlying issues that even the most minute of matters that can be solved within minutes ends up becoming an issue. Like what you've said, give me soap. Why should I give you soap?
Yeah, we need also to help. We need also to help.
Solve with all those.
That's why we need to help a couple that you don't have to solve all your issues. So there are matters that in your family you will never resolve those issues, and they are perpetual. So what you do, you avoid getting into a gridlock. What you do, you create an environment that maintains a dialogue, that as much as we can solve this, because some people also are living like agreeing to disagree. It's not the best policy. There should be a conversation all along. Though you disagree on one area or another, you don't have to solve this, because sometimes the conflict helps you to get into each other's feelings. And the only challenge is that there's what we call flooding in a relationship, that when you're speaking to me, I'm already overwhelmed in my resources and I can't be able to engage in a talk with you. And especially for men, it has been studied that it takes 20 minutes or so for a man to calm down, because the moment they release a lot of adrenaline in their system, it will take them 10-20 minutes to resolve. And that's why men psychologically will be affected in an every heat up, and they will tend to cross down and learn. And what ladies don't know is that men, because of their high emotions, that they feel it inside, and they take for a whole week to process that. So in the process of that, the ladies engage, I need to hear what you said. And so you can say something on Monday, and the guy will give an answer on Friday. So this time that is so quiet, a lady will do drama, trying to do a lot of stuff in order to bring this guy to conversation. But so some ladies do not know that the moment the man, you close him in a cave, he will never talk. So you need to do repair makeups.
Okay, just hold on to that. We have a phone call. Hello, good morning. Hello. 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 Right, I think you can call back again. Yeah, so you're just finishing up on your point.
I'm just talking about the repair makeups, where we need to have an attitude of the kids, where the children do not really make a lot of things so personal and extensive. They know I need to be kind to each other. What Rachel has said, the unconditional positive regard to your partner, that you know, if you can't solve all these things, because my partner also lacks the resources to resolve. He is limited, he is not God. And also my wife is not a goddess, so there are issues you not really fulfill in me. So I have to live with my limits, such that even if I want a very beautiful, exciting woman in bed, when I come home, she's also transacting from executive office to kitchen to the bedroom. So if I want to translate her in all this moment within 30 seconds, it is not possible. So unless you take him to Hawaii or to Mombasa for a whole week, and these things, so you have to live with some things in you that are not yet met, but they can be met with the proper arrangement. So it is good to understand, is my partner flooded? Like when you engage your partner in a conflict, you really need to know, are they flooded? Because loneliness creeps in when I'm supposed to be given what I want and my needs to be met. Then the person I'm looking them from is not there for me. That is, they are already flooded. They are not able to attend me, and they need time. And especially if he comes home and is like, and I've realized that ladies don't know how to listen to men. So that when a man comes, you have engaged them with a lot of talk and all that, they get flooded. So, and he needs some time to sit down and also ask to, because a man's life is a game. So if he didn't get a good business deal, don't expect him to be exciting at home. And that's why he may pass to a club to watch a game, then come home. Supposing he lost a business deal, he lost a game, maybe he's an Arsenal fan, and then he comes home, you want to be excited in bedroom. So this guy has a lot of losses during the day. So what will he do? He'll pick a newspaper and close himself down, and you are there cooking and talking. Then you bring tea and food all together, and you want him to feed, and then you're asking, is there anything else you want from me so that I can go and sleep? And that's where we get the issues of crashes with each other. And that's why I brought the issue of hiding in the kitchen, the other one hiding in the sitting room. So you can't meet in bedroom.
Okay. Awesome. And now before Rachel says something, we do have a phone call. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Grace, good morning. I can hear you, but I think you need to be a bit louder.
Yeah, good morning. Hello?
Yes, talk to us.
Okay, I'm just listening and watching your show today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it has come to me and it has targeted me because I'm in this marriage. Mm-hmm. And when troubles come, my husband tends to run away from it.
Okay.
There's no communication between the two of us.
Yes.
And how can somebody go about it? Because even if you have small issues, he tends to run away from it. Then after some time, he comes back to the house, or if he chases me away, he comes back begging for me. Next time, after to brush about maybe
yes,
actually I'm not satisfying his needs. And there's some small issues which maybe we can solve within us, but it tends to make other people to solve them for us. So how can somebody go about it?
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you. Rachel, how would you help Grace?
Okay, I empathize with Grace. I can imagine her feelings. Once she feels that they are not able to solve their issues, which is a big, it's not a very big problem. She can handle it, it can be handled. But I would want to ask her, maybe she look at the way she approaches this guy when she wants to talk to him. How is her approach? How does she maybe address the whole issue? Yes, she has done something wrong, or he has done something wrong. How is her approach? Because that is very important. Another thing is about attitude, because you may ask somebody something, maybe he has done something very wrong, but the way you put it brings a whole difference. For example, there's somebody was telling the other day, you may be calling me a dog. No, you may be telling me that I've not dressed well, but the way you put it is very different. You can tell me, I don't like the way you've worn today. It's very different from telling me, Remy, kindly, tomorrow you do. The blouse that you had worn yesterday was better than today. You know, it brings a whole difference. So it is also important to look at it. How is she addressing the whole issue? How is her approach when she's talking to this man? Another thing that I would want also to talk about, she has just said that they don't communicate. It is true, communication is the key thing, as we have always said about communication, but it is also important to put yourself in the shoes of this guy and ask herself, why is this man complaining? Because it's not always that you look at the mistakes that have been done to you, you don't look at your contribution. Something Raymond has just told me before we came in. He has told me, later you like talking about personality. Yes, I like talking about personality, and it is because I know personality is what governs. If I'm able to run your personality, I'll be able to live with whichever kind of person, provided I know what personality that I'm dealing with. She has just said that the man keeps quiet for a whole week, and then he comes back to revisit the issue. It happens, depending with the personality that person belongs. There are some people, depending on their personality, they don't like confrontation. So once you confront them, they would rather hide themselves, and then they come back after they know the things have already settled. So it is important as couples, as people in a relationship, learn the person that you're dealing with, learn the personality that you're dealing with. Because once I'm able to know your personality, I know that once Lemmy is confronted, this is the way she reacts. She doesn't like confrontation, or it is somebody who wants, let us deal with the issue now, depending with the persona that she is in. So it is important. At least nowadays, we are lucky that people are able to get information from many places. So it is important that you learn your partner's personality. Okay. And that is the key thing in every marriage.
Yeah. Raymond, what would you rather like to tell Grace about this?
Yeah, it's that's a normal way to resolve a marriage, because sometimes you think like there is an ideal marriage, and you may find yourself that we don't have an ideal marriage. In fact, what we have is what works for us. So we really need to acknowledge that we have worked a few days, we've been together, and you look for exemption. Like that couple that is not really crowded by the issue that she's talking about all the time. There are exemptions where them are able to rise above that challenge and resolve their issues. So what she need to know is that we have a challenge. One, I am wounded emotionally, because when we have an issue, you take off. And so when you take off, you leave me in the midst of the trouble that I need to be resolved. And then you ask yourself, why does he run away from issues? Is it that he doesn't have the resources to resolve that issue? Or is it that he has grown knowing that from my home, when daddy had issues, he ran away and he left my mom solved? And maybe you are fulfilling his mother's role in his life. Because if his mother was doing everything for him, there is a tendency when the issue comes, he just runs away and he comes back when the issues are resolved. So you really need to know, does he run away because he's not able to handle that? And I have heard her say that the guy brings other people to help them solve their issues. And that could be that the African way, like when we talk through that party, you really need to know, when he brings other people, is it that the people comes to help him fight you? And even for you, do you see those other people that are coming in as part of the solution or part of the problem? So those are the dynamics.
And we have another phone call. Another phone call. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Yes, hello, this is Michael from Tana River.
Yes, Michael, talk to us.
Yeah. Thank you for the program. You're helping us too much. But I think
we're happy.
the problem... The problem with these issues arises at our beginning of our relationship.
Okay.
you get that most of us, when we start our relationship, we do not talk what is in us.
Yes.
And mostly we like to hide to our partners. And when we hide to our partners, we get into the marriages whereby we are not even sure of what one likes and what the other person does not like. So I think to solve these problems, we first of all need to handle our problems. We let each one of us to know one another. We know our weaknesses, and then from there we can be able to move ahead. Number two, communication is very important. Yes, communication is not a sign of weakness.
Yes.
But it's a sign of strength. So with this, if we are able to discuss these problems, we can be able to solve them. Two, we cannot be able to run away from what we are holding. And three, we accept our partners to be our partners because we chose them. And with this, I think we can be able to solve. Thank you.
Sawa. Thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate your sentiments. And Rachel, I think he's reiterating what you just said about being able to be true and yourself. But the funny thing is, you'll find some people already, they have a preconceived notion when they're entering into marriage. They know they will not be honest. They know that my money is my money and his money is his money. They're so scared that they don't live. So when these problems actually come up, they're just there for the show, you know. And we used to discuss this issue some time back. So maybe you can tell us about that, because I don't believe you go into something to give 50% when you're supposed, it's your life you're wasting. Like, why in the first place be there? So maybe you can give us your sentiments on that.
Just as I said that some of the factors that really govern every healthy relationship. One is being genuine. Be genuine with yourself. Be genuine with your partner. Just as our caller said, just say that people are not themselves, which is very true. During dating and courtship, some people just pretend to be, I am the holy one, I am the good one, I don't get annoyed. You step on me, I just, you know. But this now
like
where, you're good always. But this is now where problems come in. It is always good to be yourself. Be yourself at every moment. Let your partner know, this is me. This is the way I react. This is the way I behave. This is me. This is my personality. This is my background. These are my people. This is the way I've been brought up. Let your partner know, and let your partner decide: am I able to move on with this relationship? Am I able to cope with the weaknesses of my partner? Am I able to move on with the strong points? Because at times even strong points can be another problem. You would be too empowered, you would be too, not empowered, you'd be too, have a lot of strength until your partner feels threatened and you feel that it's like I cannot move on this way. So it's important that you let your partner know, decide, am I able to move on throughout my life? Because one thing that people should know that courtship, when it comes to marriage, it's a lifetime affair, that commitment that you're put on yourself. So it is important for you to decide, am I really decided? Am I really able to move on throughout my life in this situation? And then decide from that perspective. Okay. Another thing that I always tell people, there's no one who is too mature to be the small boy or the small girl. So once you get into a relationship, it is also important that you leave space for your partner. Maybe to exercise the small girlhood, let the girlhood come at least out one day, and let the boyhood also come out one day, because there's no one who is too old to express the boyish behaviors or the garish behavior. So it is important that as you also leave a space for your partner, and let your partner feel good in your presence, and let him be or let her be as you're there to support.
Okay. So final comments, Raymond?
As you're saying, you know, I was laughing when, you know, like we marry the representative of our partner. So that when people are quoting and marrying, as she was talking about it, is that you always find that people marry the representative of the other partner. So when they get married and get in home, so the representatives fades away. So, and then this is where a couple need to understand that let your partner become who they are supposed to be, and you guys have a shared meaning of what reality is and legacy. So people don't care about tomorrow. And it happens that when people are so in a chronic situation of conflict, and also when have unmet needs in a relationship, they tend to lose the big picture of their marriage, which they dreamt about. So it is good for people to keep track of what our love maps, our fondness and appreciation levels. Also, how do we manage conflict? And then you ask yourself, how do we create, like she has talked much about the environment. There's an environment one can thrive and grow and become. But there's also an environment where you can stifle each other, that they no longer grow in their self-esteem, in their body image, and in their self-image and ideal self. So there is a probability you can get into a marriage and you lose your self-concept. You lose your self-esteem and who you are. So in such marriage, you fulfill a role of a community in marriage. And that's why you talk people are married and you wonder, are they really married or they're just fulfilling the roles of being a mother and a father?
So sorry. Yep. Right, so thank you so much, Rachel, Raymond, for coming in and advising, married couples out there who have issues as what we're speaking about today. We appreciate you, and do have a lovely day today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Right, so that's the end of Social Hour, and coming up shortly is our sports review on Sports Focus. We look at football wrangles, exactly what is the way forward. Stay tuned for that in just a bit.